So yeah, here's what the book looks like right here. So that for those who want to go read it, since I actually have the book this time, it's not like the last time. This is what it is. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the review. Hello all my subscribers. Well, as you saw in the intro, this will be my next book review. Decided to change up the background a little bit as due to some changing in my other one, some rearranging some stuff. Don't have as much wide open space. Anyway, regardless, I just wanted to go ahead and make my second book review, that being JFK's Last 100 Days, written by Thurston Clarke. So anyway, this book, as the title says, is covering the last 100 days in the life of a truly wonderful, not just president, but just a great man overall. He's been a great deal, not just to me, but many others. And as you can tell, I've been reading about him a lot with the previous review and this one. So with this book, I mainly just want to cover just about, well, the major highlights of it and what made it such a great read and why it definitely will get my highest rating of read immediately, or whatever I said in the previous video. I need to write down this damn rating scale. Shit, I should have done that. Anyway, it is what it is, but it'll definitely get my top rating. So anyway, this book overall is an overview in the life of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The last 100 days, I should say, overview. Here and there, it'll reference events that happened before, like the Cuban Missile Crisis and other events that had preceded it. But I really like how this book divides just about every section up. It'll say where he was at. From what I saw, gosh dang, it seems like when he wasn't in the White House, he spent a lot of time in Cape Cod. But he is from Massachusetts after all, so I guess that does make sense. Especially the tone of his voice and the way how he pronounced certain words, like instead of the way we say law, it was like law. Change is the law of life. Oh boy, I need to work on that impersonation. But yeah. Or, gosh dang, many other of his great quotes, especially with, forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. There we go. So, yeah. I don't know if I can't do this whole review of that JFK impersonation. It's going to hurt my throat if I try, so I'm probably just going to do it intermittent. Been working on it, but use a little bit of tuning up, but yeah. Anyway, I noticed he spent a lot of time in Cape Cod, and gosh dang, brought up a really great point on something in relation to the Cuban Missile Crisis I didn't think of. JFK had to keep his wife and kids close by him at all times, as it was really feared that the worst case scenario was going to happen with that situation, which I don't think I need an image to describe what could have been. Let me just go ahead and do a miming of what could have happened had Cuba and Russia not put an end to JFK's command, had JFK not kept the level-headedness and calmness and grace that he kept during the crisis. It would have been and I probably wouldn't be here making this video right now had that happened. Hope you enjoyed that little sound effect. I don't know. Probably that's my best explosion sound effect. Anyway, just gotta say that really gave a great insight into who he was, how these 100 days started, and how it really changed him and really made him an absolutely incredible man. I was just watching a YouTube video on something I forgot about. The 1960 election was quite divisive in its time, very much like the 2000 election, and JFK wasn't beloved immediately. It really took time for his presidency to go to pass, and especially these last 100 days and a post-Cuban Missile Crisis where he became as revered as he is today. And yeah, it was also a point too that President Biden brought up in when he was reflecting on where he was when he found out about his assassination. So that was an interesting thing that I didn't notice was brought up to my attention in this book. But yeah, throughout it, most of the book features interactions that he had with his advisors and his cabinet, the military advisors. Quite a few interactions with his wife that it focuses on, which is really nice. Kind of nice to see the less publicized moments between John and Jackie Kennedy. Same thing with him and LBJ, as it was no secret that they didn't entirely get along, and that JFK kind of just picked him to help him with voters down south. Definitely a very interesting theory on predicting, had JFK not been assassinated, what would have happened. And one thing I liked that this book focused on was how right before he got assassinated, he was really focusing on bringing down Barry Goldwater, and even met with him a few times. And I kind of liked how even he knew that it wouldn't be that close in the elections against Barry Goldwater, even though unfortunately, though LBJ beat Goldwater, he did unfortunately reignite the Republican Party. Alright, you know what, this is my channel, so I'm going to say it, but yeah, he reignited the Republican Party, which then led to the end of the New Deal coalition of FDR's side of the Democrat Party, which really freaking sucked, and there wouldn't be a Democrat president again until Jimmy Carter, and he only served one term. And Reagan and Bush came along for a good 12 years after that, and unfortunately his brother Bobby was assassinated shortly after. But I'm not going to get into the assassination, I already did that in the previous video. So, anyway, that aside, yeah. That unfortunately had a lot of other lasting repercussions that sucked. There would be another president of the Democrat Party who would be president for more than one term until Bill Clinton. But, anyway, I guess it is nice to know that JFK was projected to win. And I kind of like, too, how the book kind of focused on some of his strategies and why he strategically visited certain states and certain areas. And I kind of like, too, how this book highlighted how JFK really wanted to have his war on poverty and end it here in the States. And that was one thing that LBJ carried on into his own presidency. Even though the big debate, which is a good, I'd say about 40 to 45% of what we learn about with this is JFK's stance on Vietnam, how he handled it leading up to his assassination, and what he would have done had he not been assassinated. Because as this book heavily implies, from other sources too I've heard, is with his second term, he really wanted us to get out of Vietnam and it not become the big escalation war that it became under LBJ. Which, side note, if you're wondering what I think of LBJ, I think he's a pretty damn good president, and despite Vietnam, that's really his only folly. He was a relatively damn good president. I think if he would have ran for election again, he probably would have been a pretty damn good one. And at least we wouldn't have had to went through Watergate. Oh yeah. Scandal so bad that anytime other scandals of similar things happen, the gate suffix is always added to it. Even with the NFL, with Deflategate or Spygate. But anyway, that aside, really like this behind the curtain peek. There's also a section in the book where it features pictures throughout these 100 days. And one picture that surprised me, there's a picture of him with LBJ, where he's sitting with Jackie by him and they're both smiling, and I'm like, wow. One of the very few photos where you see those two together and they're actually smiling in the photo. I don't know if they were smiling at each other, it was probably because they were talking to other people, but yeah. Because as far as I've heard, him and his brother Robert, Bobby Kennedy, they didn't entirely always get along with LBJ. So yeah. And anyway, it was really nice. And I kind of like too how the book also focused on him really wanting to enact his civil rights. Because if I remember right, that was what Eleanor Roosevelt, from what I heard when I read another different autobiography, really wanted him to focus his campaign on. And he was about to get into it. He was really about to push the legislation forward. And then Lee Harvey Oswald, or whoever the hell assassinated JFK, because we're probably never going to know. That's always going to be a thing about that. Is frickin' I guess frickin' he was about to enact it and then he got assassinated and then stalled for a little bit, but then LBJ used his really aggressive negotiating tactics to get all the votes to get it in when he became president, and that's what led to it being passed. And it would have been passed from what I heard even if JFK wasn't assassinated, because LBJ still probably would have used his really aggressive negotiating tactics that he was known for when he was Speaker of the House and a senator. Basically any office he held, because he held just about all of them, from from representative to senator up to president, because he was also vice president. But yeah, it was really nice to see that, and also how it kind of highlighted the events of the day, that fateful day in 1963, November 22nd. Oh boy, when you get to the last chapter, all I'm going to say is it really sucks when you read how it just vaguely describes what happens, and then you're like, oh, this is it. But nonetheless, absolutely great read, a great behind-the-curtain peek. Thurston Clarke did his research, very much like Gaten Fonzie, and you can tell by the bibliography, he used these sources that he got really well, and they're reliable sources too. He's not going to some Joe Schmo for research. So, anyway, overall, I would recommend my highest rating for this. Go out and read this as soon as possible. So, anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and peace!